platform for advancing dialogue, fostering innovation, and building the partnerships necessary to drive the next wave of economic transformation. I've had time to go through some of the stands that are here, and I want to request all the guests who are here to have time and see there, because there's a huge demonstration of capacity, even by counties. And I think so that the talk can now connect with what is exactly happening on the ground. This conference provides us with the opportunity to highlight investment opportunities and engage stakeholders on strategies to unlock the full economic potential of the region. Nyanza is endowed with diverse counties that each have the capacity to change the regional economics and contribute to Kenya's overall growth. I want to start with just the counties and highlight just one or two. Kisumu, led by our great Professor Nyang, is strategically located along Lake Victoria, which is home to two other big countries, but also a big market to Rwanda, DRC, and all the other countries, making it a natural hub for trade, manufacturing and logistics. With Kisumu Port serving as a key gateway for trade with the East African community, the county boasts a thriving manufacturing sector that includes sugar processing, fish processing, and dairy production. The government's initiative to establish the special economic zone in Kisumu is set to attract investors in agro-processing, logistics, textiles, and further strengthening the industrial base. Allow me also to say that if you look at Kisumu and compare with Mombasa from a tourism perspective, you can easily match what is in Mombasa in terms of air connectivity, and I'm very happy to see this facility in terms of adding to your capacity to host events, both local and international. So again, for tourism, people travel all the way to Dubai at 40 degrees, yet you have Kisumu here at the right temperature. So this is a challenge for the tourism sector, for the hospitality industry. And I think even us as government, as we come here, we are aware that we are here to support the local economy. Siaya County, led by our good governor here, Orengo, stands as an agricultural powerhouse, producing cotton, groundnuts, fish, and rice. And allow me to say that for groundnuts, we have a huge shortage. Most of the industries that require groundnuts as an input or as a raw material, we cannot be able to meet that demand, forcing us to even go to other neighboring countries, even up to West Africa, to get the groundnuts. And therefore, this is a challenge to the region to see how we can be able to take up that. And cotton, together with fish, also fall in the same category. The government is actively working to revive the cotton industry by investing in modern ginneries and modern manufacturing plants. And also to note that we are privatizing the textile company in Eldoret, and I think that is also going to be a major uptake for our cotton, that is Rivertex. At this point, efforts to expand the groundnut and rice value chains through establishment of processing factories are all underway. Coupled with a growing aquaculture sector, Siaya is becoming an ideal location for fish processing and cold storage facilities, and we'll work together with the counties to ensure that that is done. Homa Bay plays a leading role in the blue economy, with 80% of the lake being in that particular county. So with fishing, aquaculture, and lake transport as key economic activities, the county is poised for great strides ahead. It is also emerging as a huge potential for palm oil. We import over $100 million worth of palm oil every year, yet it can be grown here. And some of the areas where it can grow very well, and tests have proven, is actually Homa Bay. So we will be working and also looking for investors, and I mentioned that here also to interest those who may have large tracts of land and would want to get into partnerships with investors so that we can get into commercial plantations for palm oil. The development is expected to reduce our dependence on imported palm oil. And working together with Treasury, one of our core mandates is to reduce imports. And we have identified palm oil as one potential area. Migori County presents a diverse economic landscape driven by agriculture, mining, and agro-processing. With a well-developed sugarcane industry that supports multiple sugar mills, Migori is also a major producer of groundnuts, which you've already said we have a shortage. And its deposit in minerals such as gold and copper offer a significant investment opportunities in gold refining, jewelry, manufacturing, and mineral processing plants, promising an integrated industrial sector that can support this. And allow me to say that in some of our neighboring countries, the biggest export is actually minerals. In fact, we have seen with the challenges in some of our neighboring countries, minerals has gone up. So again, this is one area that I can actually lift the whole country. Kisii County, led by our good governor, Simba Arati, is renowned for its world-class soapstone mining, a sector with immense potential for value addition and international exports. Beyond soapstone, Kisii is a leading producer of bananas, dairy products, and tea. Investments in banana processing plants, milk processing facilities, and mechanized soapstone extraction will create market opportunities and accelerate industrialization in the county and the region beyond. Then we also have Nyamira, which is a major producer of tea and coffee and dairy farming. And by expanding the processing facilities for tea and coffee, the county can increase product quality and global competitiveness. Additionally, investing in modern milk cooling processes will support Nyamira's growing dairy sector and improve incomes for local farmers. In conclusion, the region also presents a huge wealth of targeted investment opportunities across the whole value chain, whether you're thinking of tourism, logistics, and all that. And my prayer is that the professionals who are here today, including the business people who are here, we need to mobilize capital, because once we identify these opportunities, then we need to look for vehicles that can help us to invest and create value for our people. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude by saying that the sugar industry, that is a major employer here, has had great improvements in the last 2 years. And I'm happy to say that this year, we will not be importing any sugar. And we hope in the next 2 years, we do not import, and instead, the country can become an exporter of sugar. And that's a conversation we would want to do in tea, in wheat, and all the other products. And because our weather is generous, we can be able to work that together. So I do not want to say beyond that, just to comment one last issue on the industrial question. There has been talk that sometimes industries are closing in Kenya, or maybe the conditions are not too good. Allow me to say, when one industry closes, it's a headline. When 10 open, nobody talks about it. So in the coming weeks, we want to engage in highlighting the industries that have come in the last 3-4 years. And we will be coming here to Nyanza, working with the elected leaders, so that we don't end up giving perceptions that make our destination look unattractive and therefore less useful to the investors. I want to end there, and indeed to thank all of you and assure you that this is the beginning. Much more will happen when we move from here and look for those investors. May God bless Nyanza.
Thank you. Could we again give them a round of applause? Your Excellency, you can see I had a written speech, but certainly I'm not going to read this speech. I have no time left. I'll just take 2 minutes to say a word or two, and then I invite you. And I will start by saying that we have an opportunity. We have a great opportunity. We have had occasions when we spoke of lack of opportunities for this region. But at the moment, those my colleagues from this region, you'll agree with me that this is an opportunity that is very rare to have. This is an opportunity that probably we only enjoyed during the Grand Coalition government, and now we have it. It is how we take advantage of this opportunity. I don't want to elaborate. you understand exactly what I mean. The Honorable Eliud Owalo has enumerated a number of projects. And by the way, as we showcase Nyanza to the private investors, there are certain things that the government must do, both the national government and the county governments, to provide that environment for investment. And that is what political leadership must engage their minds to make sure that we realize the full potential of this region. And I want to thank the organizers of this event, led by Jeff Olendi, who have worked tirelessly to make it a reality. Now, what should we do as a government? And that is where I'm going to end. Every one of us, we seated here, in one way or the other, we know what needs to be done for this region to unlock its potential. We have a number of projects that, if done, some we call regional projects, some may be county specific, but are also still beneficial to the region. I don't want to go into the details, but just allow me to pick a few, 3 or 4. If we have to unlock the full potential of this region, there are certain projects that must be done. One of them is the Lake Victoria Ring Road. That must be done to open up completely this region and interconnect it and even connect it to the region. We must also complement that with lake transport. I am happy, Your Excellency, that Kenya Shipyards Limited is already constructing a ferry. We want more ferries. That ferry will be ready most likely in June and July, procured by the national government. We want lake transport to connect Busia with Migori, Muhuru, Uturu, Mouko. The other project is we must extend SGR from Naivasha to Kisumu and to Malava. These are projects that we must do. The other one is Korusoin Dam. That dam also will be a game changer, not just to Nyanza, even Rift Valley. Kericho will benefit substantially and greatly from that dam. We have talked about it for years. A time has come to actualize this. Finally, Your Excellency, if you are coming to Kisumu, should anything happen at the Ahero Bridge, you cannot access the western part of this country. And therefore, this road, which was started, the Mamboleo Muhoroni Road, which has 3 contractors on the road, which has basically stalled. As we speak, we are looking for money, and very soon, I think in the next 1 month or so, we'll pay those 3 contractors to resume work so that that road is constructed. I have highlighted that. I didn't want to repeat what the Honorable Owalo has said, but Your Excellency, I want to just inform this conference that I have been holding meetings with the county leaderships from this former province of Nyanza. We have met with the leadership from Siaya County, led by the governor. We have met with the leadership of Kisumu County, led by Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, the governor. We have met with the leadership from Migori, from Homa Bay, led by Gladys Wanga. I have lined up meetings with Migori County next week. After that, Simbarati will come with this team. We meet, and then Nyaribo from Nyamira. So that when we put together what we need to put in our budgetary provisions, because if we talk and there is no budgetary provisions for this project, it will just be a talk show. What I'm requesting, Your Excellency, is your support and the support of my cabinet colleagues as we try to balance development across the country. We should be alive to the fact that this region has faced marginalization for decades. Thank you very much. The honorable delegates, allow me now, put your hands together. If you can rise, please. We welcome His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much.
Be seated and good afternoon. First, I apologize. I think we've taken longer than we ought to have taken. And I'll take you from what my brother CS Mbadi has done. I'll also not read a speech because we all know what needs to be done. The problem with the developing world is we like talking to ourselves and talking all the time. We have very few people doing things, and we know what we need to do. And every speaker who comes here will just say the same things. The same things. I will share, I have given myself maximum 20 minutes, which I want to share equally with the governors. Because I thought it's also important for a forum like this, for each of the governors to say something in a minute or two. And I hope they will not read speeches like the ministers did. Yeah, because this is not the time. Every governor has an opportunity to speak for 3 hours, 2 hours, every day in your county and organizing forums. So allow me just to say, therefore, now that I don't have a speech, I feel very honored to be part of this meeting. I have come here to represent President Ruto, who sends his greetings. He would have wanted to come. He was in Nyanza recently, he was in Western recently, and he thought because he hasn't been to Northeastern since he became president, it was important to spend some time in Northeastern. He's been there for 4 days, he's concluding today in his. And you'll allow me exactly 2 o'clock I have to leave because again I have to see him off. He's leaving for Dar es Salaam because of the Congo issue. The EAC and the SADC is meeting today, tomorrow in Dar es Salaam. Having said that, mine is just to thank you for a good conference, well organized, well structured. We expected this from Nyanza, the headquarters of professionals and professors and very intelligent people. God has blessed this region with brilliant people who have impacted tremendously to the development of our country. So this is a good conference. I plead with you next time, let's not blame each other, involve more leaders, members of parliament from here, the members of county assembly, and even representatives of community, people who may not be very learned, but they can pick an issue or two from a conference like this one. Having said that also, let me just spend the remainder of my minutes explaining what this administration is doing to revive and transform the economy of Kenya, empower its citizens, including its citizens in Nyanza. We have a manifesto with about 168 commitments. But you can aggregate all those commitments to 5 broad areas which carry the weight of our national transformation. The first one is macroeconomic stability. For the last 2 years, a lot of unseen work has been done to arrest the volatility of the indicators of macroeconomic stability. We can talk about investments, we can talk about all these sectors, but if the fundamentals of macroeconomic stability go haywire, we lose everything. Many a times, for those of us who are from Kenya Kwanza political alignment, when we speak about the last 2 years' work on macroeconomic stability, sometimes we are misunderstood as if we are casting aspersions at the previous administration. Nothing can be further from the truth than that. What affected Kenya's macroeconomic stability was mainly the pandemic of 2020-2021, which was a global pandemic. For a year and a half, we were all shut in, we were simply locked up in our houses. There was no economic activity. Businesses were shut. You can imagine, in my previous role, the last 2 years as the Interior Minister, when we used to have a little problems, what I would call democratic stress, sometimes in our exercise of democracy, especially here in Kisumu, but also Nairobi and other parts of the country, businesses being shut in Kisumu or Nairobi for a day, if you quantify the economic cost, it's huge. So you can imagine Kenya being shut for a year or a year and a half. That is what put us in a hole. It is not the previous administration. It was something beyond the control of any government. Today, the indicators of macroeconomic stability are looking okay, thanks to the hard work of Professor Ndungu, P.S. Kithure, and the senior team in Treasury, because it is about the strength of the shilling. It is about interest rates. It's about inflation. It is about the cost of fuel. It is about the cost of food and other household commodities. If those 5 variables are escalating, it doesn't matter what economic interventions you make, the country's transformation will be delayed. And therefore, I want to take this opportunity to thank CS Mbadi and the team and the Treasury. They've done a tremendous job in the last few months to study and build on what has already been done. And I want to plead with you, my brother, CS Mbadi, and you know you have the support of President Ruto, and all of us, your colleagues, we support you. Do whatever it takes to make sure that the stability and the strength of the Kenyan shilling, interest rates, inflation, cost of fuel, and cost of food and essential commodities do not reverse, because we will lose everything, whatever it takes. So that is the foundation. And people don't see these abstract things, because it's like building a house. You first to dig the foundation. Anybody passing by will not see anything, but a lot of work needs to be done. Sometimes you dig many feet, many meters downwards so that you can be able to put up a high-rise building. Number 2, if we keep an eye on the macroeconomic stability, we must transform the sectors that carry the value chains from where the majority of the people of Kenya derive their income and livelihoods. I repeat, if the macroeconomic stability is guaranteed, the next issue for us in this region and for Kenya is to make sure the national government and county governments transform positively the sectors which carry 80–90% of the people of Kenya from where they derive their livelihoods. These are sectors in agriculture, the value chains in agriculture, livestock development, the blue economy, and mining, period. If you look at how many Kenyans get their daily bread from some form of agriculture, some form of livestock or pastoral, livestock-related economic activity, fisheries and the blue economy, you'll have touched Kenya almost entirely. That's why we are working on sugar. Time will not give us to tell you the milestones you've made in sugar, tea, coffee. We are working on rice, cotton, all these value chains, the oil crops, etc., cotton and so forth. And then you go to livestock, the entire northern Kenya, upper, eastern. You go to blue economy, the entire coastal counties and Lake Victoria counties in Western and Nyanza areas. And then mining in between there, because mining is quite a precious part of the real sector that can take the country to the next level. So if we transform those sectors, where the majority of the people of Kenya derive their livelihoods, we are good to go. We have our priorities, we need what we need to do. Between national government and county governments, we know what interventions are pending. Number 3, our priority in this administration is to transform and improve the support infrastructure that realizes this transformation of the sectors which I have already identified. What is the support infrastructure that helps us transform agriculture and livestock and fisheries and blue economy and mining? It is roads, it is electricity, PO&I, it is ICT, okay? It is the infrastructure we are building to support businesses. The infrastructure we are creating to support the micro and small and medium enterprises. It is the KIPES that we are establishing one per county, the county aggregation and industrial parks. It is the special economic zones, the 5 of them that we are racing against time to not only complete, but also operationalize. It is the affordable and social housing program. That infrastructure, ICT, the KIPES, the special economic zones, water, electricity, ICT, will help revitalize these value chains that bring wealth to the people of Kenya. Number 4, it is job creation. We have all said in so many words that one of the challenges we must confront as leaders of Kenya at all levels is the need to empower, especially the youth, by creating more jobs. Alfred and the team there and the county government, I'm sure, are doing a good job as well. And we are attacking joblessness and job creation from all fronts. You've heard Alfred summarize it, kazi kwa ground. Any work available, even if it's a short-term job, is better than no job at all. Even if it's a job for a month or 2 months or 6 months or a year, is better than no job at all. Because by the time that young person finishes under the affordable and social housing programs, there will be either another project or another job opportunity somewhere. Instead of our youth spending times in marketplaces, waiting to be paid 100 shillings by a politician to heckle their rival. We are creating jobs through the ICT, online jobs, digital jobs, kazi mtandaoni. And then we have programs for creating jobs abroad. Our young people want to travel, work abroad, save, invest it, and also come back in the country later on, are welcome to go and venture there and work, because there are people born in Kisumu, but they work in Mombasa. They are still sons and daughters of Kisumu. They come home maybe at the end of the year. What is the difference between a son or a daughter of Kisumu working in Mombasa and the one working in London and Dubai? They all come home at the end of the year. And maybe the fellow from London or Dubai may get here faster and quicker than the person working in Mombasa or Lamu, for that matter. So job creation is a big item, and we are leaving nothing to chance. If you can create a few more jobs, it is better, because you're reducing the numbers of young people who feel frustrated because we've not created enough opportunities for them. We are also creating jobs through the housing program, the climate works program. We are still hiring in the public sector. We are expanding the private sector to accommodate more jobs. And we are also having programs like the programs we are having under Nyota, under the youth ministry and others. Time will not allow me to enumerate everything. The last pillar of transforming Kenya in the shortest time is in the software that delivers on the 4 issues I have mentioned. I said macroeconomic stability. I also talked about value chains that carry the majority of the people in terms of incomes and wealth. Number three, it is the support infrastructure in the many ways I've explained. Number four is job creation. Variables to ensure that the universal health coverage for Kenya, Taifa Care, works. Many countries across the world have struggled with universal health coverage with very limited success. Even in the United States, when they succeeded with Obamacare, the Supreme Court moderated what it would have become. It's not an easy thing. But this government is persuaded that you need a healthy population, and we are spending a lot of money, and middle class is almost getting impoverished because of Harambes, because of relatives who are doing Harambes. People and families are selling property, they are selling cars, they are selling land to finance health. We need more people with an insurance card, a health insurance card. It may be less than perfect, but it's better than no card at all. We are working on perfecting the imperfections in Taifa Care, but it's better that way than a person who has no access to any medical cover. We had 9 million Kenyans who are insured since independence until now. In the last 3 years, in the last 3 months, we have doubled the number of people who now have some form of health insurance to 18 plus million Kenyans. We want to scale up that to 30, 40, 50 million. It's not easy. President Kibaki had this in his manifesto. The same politics hit that program and frustrated it. He pulled back. President Uhuru in his second term had the same, the Big Four agenda. UHC was one of them. The same politics came and truncated the program. President Uhuru pulled back. This time round, we have said we will fight through to make sure we get universal health coverage through, even at the expense of our popularity. If that is what will affect the popularity of President Ruto, so be it. Because what defines a leader is not how many hours or days or years they have been in office. Is the take-home, what they leave behind when they leave office after a certain number of years. So we are very clear in our minds that that is a national priority, and also education reforms. That's why we are strengthening CBC. We are investing in more teachers, and we are also addressing funding of higher education to make sure as many as possible of the children of Kenya get access to affordable, relevant, quality education. So those are our priorities. Everything in between, we will do it. We've had what are the priorities for this region. The 2 dams, one here between Kericho and Kisumu, the other one in Nyamira, Magwagwa. Then there are some flagship factories like the sweet potato one in Korea. I was taking notes, and I take notes everywhere I go, because that's the only way you are able to at least account. I must account for coming here, and I must carry home what the people of Nyanza want from national government. Between myself and my colleagues, cabinet colleagues, and the entire team, I want to promise you, the 9 or so priorities which have been repeated here, the ring road, I don't know, the 2 dams, the factory, the abattoir, we will go out of our way to make sure that we do them. So that we can now, even if we don't achieve everything, we can say we've done this percentage of the commitments we had made. With those many remarks, I declare this conference officially open on behalf of President Ruto And I want to request Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, my academic senior and former colleague in the Senate, who is now governor of Kisumu, to tell us how the governors will organize themselves. 2 minutes each, just to tell us something. Professor Nyong'o, you have the floor. Thank you very much. In another 10 minutes, I need to leave. So if we not have finished, I will quietly leave through the back door. Thank you very much. God bless you.
I've got a chance to be a deputy governor, a deputy president. Please sit down, please. The deputy president, being a professor, is a very democratic person. And I appeal to him that after we have listened to all these speeches, the governors have a right of reply. So I thank you, Mr. Deputy President. We encourage the government to employ more professors in all sectors of society. So could I ask Governor Ken Lusaka from Bungoma to come and address you, please?
Okay, I've been told I cannot use that. I have no problem. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, allow me to ride on all the protocols. But before I make my remarks, I've been requested to acknowledge and appreciate the following partners who made it possible for this international conference to take place: KCB, College of Insurance, Kenya Shipyard, Kenya Airports Authority, Homeboys, Nation Media Group, KPA, KDIC, Cooperative Bank of Kenya, KPLC, KenGen, Equity Bank, Unclaimed Assets, Old Mutual, DDP, NSSF, Homeland, KQ, Ketraco, Masai Mara University. You are all acknowledged, and thank you so much. I appreciate you as the Deputy Chair, LREB. Your Excellency, this is an important forum for us. Coming from Bungoma, I want to focus on only one aspect and to thank the government and our parliament, both the National Assembly and Senate, for the Sugar Act. Because sugar is a mainstay of our economy in Bungoma County and even this region. And the fact that we have streamlined the sugar sector, we would just want to request that the regulations be operationalized faster so that we are able to implement this. Yesterday, I had a problem with the PS Agriculture when he said we have been performing very well in the sugar sector. Yet I know that most of the factories, including Zoya, have been on their knees. So the fact, how do you find that maybe Zoya is not working optimally, yet on the shelves you find sugar? Who has farmed that sugar? Which factory produced it? And yes, yet it has a logo of Zoya. We're talking about cartels. So we need to streamline the sugar sector. And one thing that is also coming out very clearly, and we've talked about it, is that government cannot do business. We must get the private sector to come in to do business for us. We can only create an enabling environment. Let me give you an example of Zoya. Zoya is using 8,000 to produce sugar, which they sell at 5,000. Zoya has employed more than 5,000 people compared to Naitiri Sugar, which has 400 people, and Naitiri is doing better than Zoya 100 times. So there is a problem. So we need to get strategic partners to come and invest in the sugar sector to turn it around for us to be able to realize, for the farmer to be able to realize what is owed to them. Otherwise, how do you explain you have taken a farmer's sugar cane, you have crushed it, you have sold sugar, and you cannot pay him or her? There's a problem. So as government, we must get out. Some people are saying, let the county government take over Zoya. I said, a bone that a hyena cannot chew, how can a dog chew it? It's the same story. So this investment conference is important, that we partner, we want to empower investors to come and support us in those sectors. Then we have what we call the inter-county roads. We also want to discuss, because as a region, we have 14 counties. so that when you have a road from Bungoma crossing over to Kakamega, Kakamega should be able to pick it up so that it continues, so that there's a seamless flow of traffic, on our roads. Otherwise, you'll find that, when you realize you're getting into Bungoma when the road is very bad, or you're getting into Kakamega when suddenly you get a very bad road. So we want to network and want to thank you that as the region, we are working together and we'll be able to to synergize so that we are able to realize what we want. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
I hope you remember that a bone that a hyena cannot chew, a rat cannot. Could I ask my dear friend, Governor Nyaribo from Nyamira, to come and address you briefly? And then I'll thank you very much, Governor Nyaribo.
Thank you, Deputy President. I take this opportunity also to thank the organizers of this conference. Nyamira is 1 hour drive to the west, out of this direction. I invite you to invest in tea, coffee, probably the best in the world, and as a country, I believe we should not be a blender, because our tea is used to blend other teas globally. We are not getting proper value. We should, as a government of Kenya, look in that, and we sell tea globally using our own brand as Kenya. Nyamira, we also have many other products, avocados, some said coffee, local vegetables, and many others. Most have been talked here. But as a country, if we don't fix the cost of energy, power is very expensive in Kenya. We'll be going round in cycles. I believe the national government will take it as priority number 1 in this country to fix power costs. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. With us too, we have deputy governors. Can they just stand and wave? I see my deputy governor, Dr. Willie. Are there others? Please. I can't see you, but my eyesight is pretty bad, actually. We also have vice chancellors of universities who are here. Could they stand so that they're recognized? Thank you so much, VCs. Now, can I ask Governor Wanga, sorry, this light is too strong. Governor Wanga of Homa Bay is coming.
Thank you, Prof. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, all protocol observed. Homa Bay is open for investment, and we are prioritizing the blue economy. And what we'd like to be addressed in the blue economy is security on the lake. It is important. It is affecting our people on there. We are prioritizing agriculture in the value chains of cotton. We are the second largest producers of cotton in the country. In the value chains of edible oils, we are number 1 producer of sunflower in the country. We are number 1 producer of peanuts in the country. We are number 3 producers of sorghum. We are pushing the agricultural value chains for investment. We are also prioritizing tourism and hospitality for investment. So these areas of priority, we are largest producers of sweet potatoes also in the country. And this surprises many people, but we are extremely agricultural, and we hope to partner with the investors here in the area of the digital economy, business process outsourcing. We will have Summersource, which is one of the largest BPOs coming to Homa Bay, Victory Farms doing a great job with fish processing, Manda University. We are partnering with Tomboya University because we must generate the necessary skill. Your Excellency, investors, everybody, karibuni sana Homa Bay. This August, we will be hosting the Devolution Conference. Karibuni sana.
One thing that Gladys did not tell you is that if you are fond of going to Mombasa for your Christmas holidays, last year I spent a week on Lake Victoria, going from one hotel to the other in that region. And I'm telling you, it's a wonderful tourism site. And the people who have boats there are very good at organizing tourism. So those of you who are fond of going to Mombasa, there's another alternative in southern Nyanza. Makofi basi. Can I ask my dear friend Simbarati from Kisii? Simba is the youngest governor among us, and is very effective and very assertive. And I think that he's doing a good job in Kisii. Simba.
Thank you, Prof. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, na wananchi watukufu, habari zenu. Good afternoon. Allow me to mention two things. Number one, I want just to ascertain that Kisii, all Nyanza, is not Kisumu. Nyanza is not Siaya. Nyanza is not Homa Bay. Nyanza is not Migori. Nyanza, it is Kisii. It's important for us indeed to realize. So Kisii, again, Kisii, Nyamira, those are one people down to the lake. Because I had the CS housing, you just mentioned of projects around the lake. Know that Nyanza runs all the way to the border of Bomet. Your Excellency, the question we must ask ourselves, the take home, the tangible ones, what are we picking from this investment? I'm happy with the CS Paranya. Again, we'll be having another conference of investment next year. Then what? This is the question. I want to say that we are planning one in China. I hope that it will be able to bring many, and I've spoken to my professor to see how we can be able to enhance again the other part of the world. Number two, Your Excellency, there is this railway that we are talking about. And this railway is going to come from Naivasha, pass through the periphery of Nyamira, all the way to Kisumu. For the organizers, Owalo, you spoke very well. Make sure it passes through Kisii. That's the only time that we'll know that we are in. The last bit I want to just comment, know that we were number one in the world in production of Barethra. Of course, there was an issue before the devolution. We hope that we'll be able to revive that sector. We want to thank the UK government for the SWED program. We will be the first among the 14 municipalities to set up the waste management system, which they have funded to a close of 172 million. Probably at the end of the month, we'll be having it, the only one in Kisii here, and the whole region as it were. Your Excellency, there is a program. When we came to the office, we were not in the same boat. Therefore, I was wondering, how can I get to State House? I called the president, graciously invited me. The only thing took me there, it was the issue of Kenya-UK Health Alliance. This is a program which was started with my predecessor, who did very well. And I want to ask my brother Migosi, because this thing falls under your department. So far, that thing has passed through the cabinet. Now it's implementation, because as Kisii, we are leading in the field of health. Again, I want to assure you, we did, Your Excellency, make it possible that Kisii, yes, they spoke, others, I mean the hub, others were the spokes. This is Maseno, Masinde Mliru, what else? For those ones who know, there is Kebabi, there is Bomet. Your Excellency, if we had that one, we'll have this region as a destination of health issues. I'm happy I saw somebody from India that is already there who is interested in health. How I wish that you get space in Kisii and Nyanza, as it were. I can see her. Professor, given that you are our chairman, I want to plead with you and ask my brother Opio. You know, the other day you spoke of 4 counties, but I corrected you that even Kisii and Nyamira, they are part of Nyanza. And we had gotten money for electricity. Please let us address ourselves. This is what I came here for. Let us address ourselves to Nyanza and as a country. Thank you and God bless you.
Actually, Governor Rat is right. The historical origin of Nyanza goes back to what the colonialists called Kavirondo. Northern, Southern, and Central Kavirondo. So if you talk about Nyanza, you can't leave out Nyaribo, you can't leave out Ken Lusaka. All these are part of the old Kavirondo, which is now Nyanza. So let me tackle another member of this Kavirondo, Gaf. I think we have the, have I called Nyaribo? Da Ochita Yako? Yes, Nyakwar Jamoko. Please come. That is the governor of Migori, if you don't know. And Migori is also one of those counties with very good beaches. Please.
Thank you very much, our chair. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, all protocols observed. I bring the salutation of the people of Migori and their support for the theme and also the agenda of this conference. I want to agree with Governor Arati that although Migori is included in Nyanza, but most activities never reach Migori. In terms of formation of administrative units, Migori is the youngest in this region. I think it's slightly younger than Nyamira. So people tend to forget the last borns, talk about the firstborns and the middle children, but forget the last borns. Now, I just want to say 2 things generally. I want to speak to my brother, the governor and the waziri of Nakuru. The sugar sector has not recovered. I live right inside Ken, and there is no new development of Ken in Homa Bay and in Migori. So anything that you see purporting to be Ken from our mills are repackaged products from Comesa. And those repackaged products are taking the payments that ought to be given to our farmers, the payments that are supposed to be utilized to employ our young people. So although we are comfortable that we have a sugar in our shelves, I think that is a smokescreen that needs to be dealt with. Secondly, I want to address what Governor Oparanya, Emeritus Governor and Emeritus Chair of COG has said. One, the reason in my estimation why there were no investors after that conference, and there is likelihood that there will be no or very few investors after this, we haven't listened to them. We haven't listened to them. We have been talking and they have not been talking. I think as we handle more conferences, it is important to listen to investors and also buy from them what they are producing. They are not in the habit of listening to politicians like us and our political problems, but we politicians should listen to them and the solutions they have innovated for our challenges. So that would also be my suggestion going forward. Coming to Migori, Migori is a very strategic place. I believe it's the Newfoundland in this region. When you come to Migori and you talk about tourism, you know that Migori is 40 minutes to Masai Mara, and Migori is also 40 minutes to Serengeti. Migori receives flights, not commercial flights. We receive commercial flights about 3 in a week, but we receive 70 flights full of tourists to those areas. So there is a lot to be done in Migori. You can invest in that sector. I want to thank the national government. I hear that next week you are advertising for the expansion of the terminal of that airport. The little one that is existing is courtesy of my administration. The runway also needs an extension. And as we talk about airports, airstrips, I think Migori has the potential of having an airport that will bring people to Kenya who will also go to Tanzania. The tourism in Masai Mara and Serengeti is available. The entire lake tourism and water sports is available. From Migori, you'll connect all the way to Busia as you do also the water transport. So Migori is ideal for that. And of course, there is cultural and other related tourism. So we encourage the national government to do its part and the county to do her part so that we are able to provide an enabling environment. I want to say that Migori has the most gold, but the problem is that county governments, and one of us talk about sustainability in terms of investments. In our constitutional architecture, we brought counties, but when we come to supporting counties, functions are never funded. If we do not fund these functions, it will still be a burden of the national government when the county architecture is there. So minerals that are in Migori County, the counties do not, and my county has no regulatory control or infrastructure. In fact, it is chaotic. It is in the hands of gangs. I have tried as best I can, and I'll not relent, to meet with the national government officials responsible for it, so that we create order. We are losing millions and millions of shillings in the hands of cartels. We are discouraging organized investors to come and invest there when such opportunities are there. Migori County is also one of the areas that has the best potential for agriculture. We have land, we have people, and one of the going concerns that is stumbling is the Gitonganya sweet potato plant that we have. The reason, one of the reasons that is a challenge to it is the cost of power. The cost of power, the quality of power, the availability of that power is a challenge. I'll not elaborate, but I'll seek audience with the responsible Waziri to be able to assist us address that. But when you look at agriculture, Migori County is about to benefit from 19,000 acres under sugar, under rice. And with that rice, we are inviting all investors to participate in all the value chain that relates to rice. Lastly, because there are many and I do not want to speak of them, Migori County sells over 4,750 cattle every week. They are available in Migori County. Don't ask me where. Migori County is strategic because it is the only county in Kenya that has a functional border with Tanzania. If you go to Coast Kwale, Lunga and Vanga, there isn't much. Taita Taveta, Mount Kilimanjaro. If you come to Kajiado, yes, there are administrative facilities that take us to Arusha. When you come to Narok, there is the Masai Mara, and on the other side, Serengeti, so it is not much. We in Migori County connect with Tanzania through pathways. We have common communities in Kenya and Tanzania, and all the livestock, including what you had for lunch here, is from Migori County. We have not just patented it. So if you are interested in hide and skin and tannery, come to the source, which is Migori County. You will get livestock even from Zimbabwe. So that is very strategic. Lastly, when you talk about the SGR and you talk about the extension to Kisumu and Busia, what about through Kisii, Nyamira, and Hispania in Migori County? I think that will be a win-win for everybody. Thank you very much with all those remarks that I've made. You are all welcome to Migori County. When we have a conference, because we'll have it soon, we will be listening more to the investors, and we'll also be telling them details of what we are able to do together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Now let me ask, has Gladys spoken? No. Oh Lord, my goodness. Jim, you are the only one left. Thank you. Governor of Siaya.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, all protocols observed. I think I'm coming at the tail end. I'm feeling like a hungry man with a loaf of bread and you're told to eat it in 30 seconds. And I like the integrated approach. Like recently, we had a multi-ministerial delegation from Interior, from MITI, that's the investment ministry, from roads and communications. We had people from Kenya Shipyard talking about investing in the same place so that it is done in a planned manner. And that is about the port of, we are trying to build in Usenge. But more relevant to what we are discussing today, I wanted to say this. I think having listened particularly to what Senior Oparanya said, we should, in an investment conference, address the issue why we are not attracting as many investors as we wish. And investment conferences have taken place. When I was first elected in Parliament, we had an investment conference for Nyanza, presided over by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. So it has been an ongoing conversation. One of the things that we learned when we had recently the investment conference hosted by Governor Nyong'o and sponsored by the Afrexim Bank. And we were talking about how investors can come directly to counties. And we found out there were so many roadblocks to an investor who wants, let's say, come to Siaya. We need to look at the legal framework to make sure that an investor who wants to invest in a county like Siaya can come there directly without legal hurdles. And I want to give a practical example of this. I was in a conference in Cairo where we are talking about urban and municipal development. And many delegations were going to Afrexim Bank signing deals, but we're busy at the conference talking about what we must do. And when we addressed the issue why that was happening, they said we should address the legal framework that makes it possible for investors to come directly to counties. For example, if you want to go into a private-public partnership under the current framework, you cannot succeed in 5 years. You cannot succeed in 5 years. And it has not been done. The counties that have tried have not succeeded. So I think we need to look at that framework. The other thing, whereas the Constitution gives a framework of sharing revenue, if you look at the revenue that is allocated to national government, and I'm glad to talk about this because I think there is acceptance of that fact, that if you look for roads, for example, you find that one county in a particular area is given more money for tarmac roads, like more than, let's say, the entire of Nyanza. With that type of situation, it will be very hard for this region to move ahead. The national government should do a checkup and find out, are counties getting or regions getting equitable amounts of monies spent by national government in infrastructure and the rest. And lastly, I want to say this. If people feel good about what is happening, they don't need to be persuaded. They don't need to be persuaded. When Kibaki took over, in the first 6 months, there was a feel-good factor. And I'm challenging ourselves that having gone through these processes and in election cycles, we need to take measures that the ordinary Kenyans at the end of the day can say, we feel good, what is happening to us, what services are being delivered to us. And this investment conference will deal with this issue if you can open up the counties and the regions. I don't want to go beyond that. I thank you, and thank you very much, the organizers.
Thank you very much, Jim. Could I ask the deputy governors who are here to just stand and wave? I see my deputy governor is there, Dr. Willie, and others. Please, where you are. I'm sorry, this light is too strong. But anyway, thank you so much. Mr. Deputy President, thank you very much for letting us share your time. I'm sure that what has been said here is useful to your ears. And please come again to Kisumu and stay longer. I will be a very good host. And you know why I say so. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Tafadhali kila mmoja naomba kwa heshima tusimame.
Sound Candy Talk Live News.